when you understand really who and what we are resonating energy. And by definition, we're in a very low vibratory rate. We're in a very dense vibratory rate compared to the vibratory rate that we were created in and with. Our optimum vibratory rate would equate to us being like gods, all of us, each and every one of us, the power to create as we go. And I found that very interesting, and I followed that to where I found out, well, guess what? We're already doing this. All of us are already doing this. But what the puzzle was how come some people realize it and some don't? And when I got to that point, and Marcia and I both got there at the same time, we realized there's a lot that we need to know about ourselves, that life is inside, it's not outside. This is all illusion. Life is perception of what we perceive, and it's created in nanoseconds. Every thought, every idea that comes out, we're creating an image outside of ourselves, and we call that reality. Marcia and I discovered about reality, realizing. Could you explain that to them for a minute?
About real life?
About real life?
Well, Ralph and I have studied, gone into a lot of different studies, and one of the ones that he brought home was word sculpture. And anyway, we've studied and gone into what is called Conclave 2005. Anybody can go into the internet, Conclave 2005. And there's a lot of interesting philosophy there. The multi-universes, or the many universes, and we call them
Multiverses and the reconnections. If you get on Conclave 5, and you'll get a screen of conclaves, but go to Conclave 5 and then go to the reconnections, you'll find what she's talking about. It's really advanced or above, it's really ether philosophy, if you will. It's a philosophy of the soul, not of the brain, not of the mind, or mental philosophies. It's really of the soul, because it's us, all of us, who we really are and why we're really here and what we're really doing, or what we're really not, what we don't think we're doing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. Anyway, when he was one of the concepts there, he actually came up from it. It wasn't from this group or anything, but Ralph was talking to one of his other friends, scientists, and anyway, he came up with the idea that when you actually see with your real eye, your third eye or your pineal gland, you actually see beyond what we call the third dimension, or the reality that we're in right here. But you can see further. You can see what you're really experiencing, and what your true sight is. And many times, once you get into a flow, we laugh about it all the time. It's like magic is happening on a regular basis. It's like we create something that we want to have happen in our lives. And I don't know where this gets into with magnetics, but it's one of those things that we all have. There's so much more to our lives than what many of us, some of you probably are experiencing these kinds of things, but let go and see what can really happen, because we can levitate, we can do all of the things that you even hear about. We're doing them already. We just need to recognize that we're doing them.
We already, in our studies, have learned to, the fallacy that, well, you can't really walk through a wall, you're a body and that's a wall. No, that's not true. We walk through walls all the time because we know how to walk through walls. And walking through walls is just understanding who and what you are. You're an energy field. And when you allow that and get rid of the idea that you're just a body or just a solid mass of energy or matter, which you're really not, and that wall is energy, and you can synergize with the wall by raising your frequencies to the, and have purpose, raise the frequency to the resonant frequency of the wall, and with a great deal of compassion and humility and respect, you find yourself on the other side of the wall. And the first time it happens, it's very humbling. I mean, I almost bawled when it happened.
Same kind of concept when you actually traveled in the space.
Yeah, I'm getting to that. I think that'll.
Ralph, I would love to see that demonstrated.
I knew someone was going to ask that. Well, actually, we did give a demonstration in Prescott, Arizona, with 6 or 8 people in the room. Remember? What happens is, let me put it this way: the brain is a computer, just period. Nothing more, nothing less than a computer. That sole job is taking care of this thing called a body. That's all its function is. Anything outside of that, it doesn't want to hear about. It doesn't even want to acknowledge anything outside of its job, because its job is keeping all the mechanisms, all the energy fields, the cardiovascular, et cetera, all those fields going. So the brain, once it reaches its optimum capacity, shuts down. It cannot see beyond its own dimension, and its dimension is physical. Its dimension is 3D, if you like, third dimensional.
So if you're in a group of skeptics, you're going to pick up that energy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, I actually love skeptics because they are seeking to learn the truth. And
Can I ask?
sure.
Since you said you love skeptics, why demonstrate walking through the wall?
Well,
Or what does that take? Could you do that? I'm just curious.
Could I interject something?
Sure, please.
Harry Palmer, who built the Avatar program, or Avatar course, you can find it on the internet. Anyway, they also were resonating with your idea there. And they thought, well, it's because of what we believe. And if we don't believe it's solid enough, we'll be able to open the vortex and walk through. They tried, but they failed at it. But they haven't given up.
I'd like to hear his.
Well, that's true.
But it's just like when he put his hand through the aluminum. He didn't believe it or disbelieve it. He was probably quite shocked.
But I knew it when it happened. And there's.
But this wall right here, for instance,
Right.
what would it take for you to? I'm being concrete here. I'm real specific. Talk to me.
I know it. I know.
Let's sneak around to the answer to your question. I'd be curious, Ralph, on, and this is right up consistent with what we're discussing, namely the Philadelphia experiment.
And what's his name? The guy
Well-
who levitated the bowling ball.
Not Chris Angel.
What's his name?
Are you talking about Chris Angel?
No,
No.
he's a magic man. I'm
Okay.
talking about the electrical engineer who got a bunch of Navy radios.
Wait.
Oh,
Let's not go there.
Hutchison.
Hutchison.
Yeah.
Well, we're
Can we
trying to
stay
get
on
this
track
right here.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
It's all
But
related.
I really didn't come to do parlor demonstration. I really came to raise the consciousness so that all of us can realize we're doing it all the time. For instance, we belong to different groups, and we call them pods. We have people all over the place that are working on all. They call them the elders of the round table, and I happen to be the eldest on the round table. And under me is Elizabeth Rauscher, which is nominated 3 times for the Nobel Prize. and she's a great scientist, and then on down the line. But getting back and forth to Hawaii became a real hassle for me, and I didn't want to go because I had business here, but I had to go over for conferences and getting things together over there. The project over there is called the Resident Project, and Hiram, there's a friend of mine that's in it that, I don't know if I've got a disc here on him or not. He's gone on now to made a series of discs that transcends Einstein's theory of relativity and the ideas of the Big Bang. And all he did in school was, when they said it all started with the Big Bang, was ask one question, and that question was, well, what caused the Big Bang? And that, they threw him out. They didn't want him in class anymore. Well, anyway, there's more and more stories that I could get into, but, and I will
You'll answer my
get,
question.
I will get back to that, but
Okay, I'll make sure you do.
You're making many statements about physical phenomena that presumably can be demonstrated. Putting your hand through an aluminum form that technologies can create. Electrical power by putting coal. That's low technology. You say it, and it certainly sounds that way. How come we never, ever see it?
have you looked for it?
No, but you say it's
That's
easy.
your answer.
No, it's not appropriate
Maybe it's
rebuttal.
a letting go.
Because, no, electrical power is not something that I have to let go to experience. I flick a switch on and I experience it. And I'm saying, I happen to be incredibly sympathetic to what you're saying about vibrations and all of that. So I'm not coming from a hostile place, but from a very frustrated place. That you talk about physical things, spaceships, levitation, this sort of thing. This country's complex enough, you could put one on television.
I think I heard the answer already, namely with J.P.
I
Morgan.
think if you let me finish, you might have a different opinion.
Okay,
by
because
the
I'm
time I get
very
done.
frustrated right now.
Anyway, in going back and forth to Hawaii, and Marcia was a very, we were in touch all the time. And I told her one day that I was through with having to find out what airlines, what am I going to take, did I forget my notes, how long is it going to take, is who's going to pick me up at the airport. I just got really, I said no more. To myself, I said, I'm not going there anymore that way. And the next thing, and this is really going to cause you to question me now, but anyway, by the time I get done, if you let me finish, the next thing I realized, I was sitting around the round table and we were discussing our projects, and we were heavily into going into the prototypes we were working on and stuff. And a guy asked me, how was your flight? And at that moment in time, I didn't remember anything about a flight. The only thing I remembered was being in my study, in my office, in my lab, and then sitting at the table. And I could not remember anything about that, about a flight. Well, I didn't know how to explain that, except all of a sudden I realized, well, he needed an explanation. And I manufactured in my mind how I got there. And that became a reality to him, to me, and to everybody. And that's, I realized, I'm really going out on a limb here, but let me explain. When you understand who you are and where you are and what you are, you'll also find that you're everywhere at the same time. I'll give you a brief demonstration of that. Okay, if you think about going to Hawaii now and I ask you to come with me, you'd have to go about of airlines am I going to fly on, all those details. They're really unnecessary if you use your mind. If you use your brain, yeah. In 3 dimension, yes. But if you use your mind, think about this. See the white sands? See the palm trees? See the coconuts? See, the mind is already there. and you bring yourself, your essence, to that spot, because